Here we have a pre-owned 2020 Infiniti Q50. This one comes in the Luxe trim level in liquid platinum. And then we have the stone leatherette interior. The powertrain consists of a 3-liter twin turbocharged V6 engine made into a 7-speed automatic transmission. This one has a little over 50,000 miles on it. To the front end here, we do get our LED headlamps along with our LED daytime running lights and LED fog lights. And a nice front fascia here. Even though the Q50 hasn't had much of a refresh or anything since it first came out, still very modern, very nice looking car in my opinion. These are going to be 18-inch alloy wheels. We get passive keyless entry on the front. Door handle there, power mirror controls, power door locks, rear window lock, and one-touch up and down windows on all 4 doors. Traction control, trunk release, hood release, and then our foot pedal parking brake is there. Manual tilt telescoping steering wheel. And there's our power driver's seat with 2-way power lumbar support. But a huge thanks to Chevrolet Buick GMC of Murfreesboro for allowing me to review this car today. I'll leave a link below in the description. If you're looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click on that second link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your information. I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on this or whatever pre-owned vehicle you might be interested in. Not bad room for a 4-door sedan in my opinion. Seat back pockets are on both sides. The rear AC vents are there. Then there's a look at the front from back here. And with the Luxe trim, you do get those 18-inch alloy wheels and this power moonroof here, so that's what the shade looks like. And then the seat folds down. Bottle holders are there in the middle. And then you have a little run through to the back seat as well. But let's make our way towards the back. Child lock right here, lock and unlock. And there's the back end there, dual exhaust. And pretty good use of the cargo space, I think. This is how you release the seats in the back. You want to fold those flat. And then this has the all-weather mat in the trunk space. And then, let's see if I can do this with one hand. If I can get this out, just kind of a tray there. I'm assuming there's supposed to be a tire inflator kit, but I could be wrong. Don't have a lot of experience with the Infinitis, but the gas cap there. And then again, once you hit that release, you can fold these down. Top tethers are on the behind the seats themselves, and then our anchors are hidden behind this Velcro here. But there's the power front passenger seat. Lockable glove compartment will cut this AC down. And then the owner's manuals are still in this one. And then back to the front end. There's the engine. Now I remember when these first came out in the hybrid trim, I wanted one so badly because I thought they looked so good. I love the performance numbers and then the fuel economy on top of that. But having a twin turbo V6 in this is pretty nice. So leather wrap steering wheel here. There's the horn. Over here to the screen, you have the navigation system. Backup camera with the bird's eye view. Guidelines follow you as you turn the steering wheel. And then you can turn these parking sensors on or off. Now down here, this is where you do most of what you need to. Bluetooth audio, XM, AM, FM. And then you also have your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, as well as an aux input, which is nice. And you still have a CD drive in this one. But dual zone climate controls are on either side there, or you can pull up this in the middle here. And you control the fan speed, the steering wheel heat. and all that. Now down here, you can fool with all of that. Radio. It's pretty easy to use once you get used to it. And then you can cut the whole system on or off with this button here. Now for the heated seats, you can just turn those on. You have high, mid, low, off, or auto, but it shows you what it's on in the bottom corner here for either seat. So that's pretty cool. And then your hazards are right there in the middle. 12 volt there, you can stow all that away. And then for the shifter, grab the lever, reverse, neutral drive, come over here and you can manually shift. And then you have a few shortcuts here, and then this knob you can use to go through the screen up top as well. If you want to zoom in and out of the navigation, the camera, if you want to fool with those settings, you can. Now for the drive modes, you get several. So you can see in the middle part of the gauge cluster, once it's activated. Of course now it won't do anything, but might be because I have this camera on. Well, that's weird. Anyways, the drive mode selector's here. And then it's showing me here now, Eco, Standard, Sport, Personal. I think actually that's where it was. I got confused. It's not in the gauge cluster. It shows you right here on the screen. So if I had it in Standard, I'm gonna put it in Sport. Bottle holders are there. Center console cubby space has a 12 volt USB-C, USB-A, and an aux input. Garage door transmitter in this mirror. Sunglasses holder. And then we have the sliding roof. So that's one touch. You can do the same thing to close it. And then all of your lights and whatnot are right here. But there's a look at the back seat. And then to the steering wheel. First of all, before I forget, your blind spot monitors are right here. But volume can be adjusted here. Track list and radio station presets can be adjusted here when you're in the audio menu. Voice recognition, Bluetooth button, back button there. And then this is for the gauge cluster here in the middle. So tire pressure monitors, the driving aids, and you can change your view, whatnot there. Standard cruise can be turned on or off, and you can set the speed there, cancel. Blinkers, high beams, and you can set the headlamps to auto. Fog light controls are there. And then you have your automatic wipers here. One time off, auto, low, high. And then you can adjust the brightness of the gauge cluster here, and then the trip meter. You can fool with that there as well. Over here to the radio again, you have a lot that you can do in here. So your audio settings are there. You can go through here, go to your settings, and then go to others. And this is where you can adjust your language, your units of measurement right in there. But there's really a lot you can fool with in terms of the settings. So if you want the rain sensor on, you can do that, battery saver mode, all this stuff, even the lane change, depending on when you hit that blinker like that, how many flashes it is. So it's very configurable in terms of the settings, which I like. Push button starts here. Finally, here's the key fob with remote start. Next, let's go ahead and take this 2020 Infiniti Q50 out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in this Q50 here, a quick car. I mean, you have a twin turbo V6, so I'd expect it to be quick. But I have it in sport mode now, so this kind of gives you your maximum power output, if you will. Like how it drives though. Like I said earlier, I've always liked these cars just in terms of the design, the power, the fuel economy numbers, but just how Infiniti does their powertrains in these, just 7-speed automatic, twin turbo V6, just gets up and going. I meant to say goes there, but. Now I'm gonna give it a nice good pull here, getting on the interstate. Here we go. That is nice. Very nice. So again, the car is quick. We do have the twin turbo V6 7-speed automatic. You don't have the adaptive cruise here, which is but I mean, for a car like this, I probably wouldn't even be using the cruise that much because this is really fun to drive. I'm hearing some weird sounds coming from like the suspension when I first got it going. I don't know if it was the brake calipers or what, but again, this is very fun to drive. And the ride is actually pretty decent too. I mean, it's a good solid ride. Not saying it's not smooth or anything, but I am feeling the road just a tad. Road noise not terrible, but again, it's something that you kind of hear. But the performance alone, I mean, you get 300 horsepower with this, and I mean, the 300 horsepower it's all there, trust me. Now I have the car in eco mode now. It still gives you a little bit of pull. It just kind of keeps the revs low, the gears as high as they'll go. But I want to give a big thanks to Chevrolet Buick GMC of Murfreesboro for allowing me to review this car today. If you're looking to find the best price on one of these closer to home, click on that second link down below. It takes just a minute to fill out your information. I'll make sure the local dealers are fighting to get you the best price on this or whatever pre-owned vehicle you might be interested in. But yeah, the eco mode is nice. I'd probably use this mostly for interstate driving, but you can use it just driving around town. You can see that eco light is on, but then when I put my foot into it, even in eco mode, the light goes away. So probably for the rest of the drive, I'll have it in standard. But I think this is a pretty solid deal right now, just because these actually have a pretty good track record in terms of reliability, at least from the engine and transmission perspective, from what I've seen. And it's just crazy that this still has as much power as it does. Now, it's not a red sport by any means, but it's still a very quick twin turbo V6 car. And I think it's one of the ones that you can get probably cheaper. And even if you wanted to tune it yourself or something like that, you might have some luck with that. I'm not sure on how that would work, but red sports are still bringing pretty good money. And I feel like just a twin turbo V6 Q50, if you find the right one, you might be able to get for a pretty reasonable price. This one in particular, again, it's not priced badly, but miles are somewhat lower, so it's gonna bring a bit more money. But I think it was still only like maybe high 20s, which again is pretty good for a car like this. But if you're looking for something that has pretty good room for a car, drives very nicely, still luxurious, it's kind of like a Japanese Mercedes, if you will. And it doesn't ride like a Mercedes, don't get me wrong, but it's very close and it's still very good. And it's, in its own way, it's still an Infiniti. So with all that being said, this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2020 Infiniti Q50 3.0T Luxe.